Should pass interference be reviewable?
No, because then where does it end? What about holding on the offensive line? Skip, was pass interference, was it a rule that was instituted this year? So it's been going on for a while. Why now? You see, and it goes to something else we've talked about, Skip. We're not nearly as concerned about things that don't affect us. We've been talking about that a lot over the last couple of years, about things that don't affect us and we seem to have no interest in. But Skip, that's a fish I'm gonna fry another day. Right here, I'm gonna keep this right here, what we're talking about. You see what has transpired, Skip, is that, so what about a call? I mean, Dak Prescott, you mentioned it, got hit in his head. They didn't throw a flag. Should Jason Garrett been able to review that? Because that would have been an automatic first down. They didn't. Jared Goff Sunday on 2nd and goal. He got a face mask on the scramble. Should Sean McVay been able to review that? You see, the rules have already slanted for the offense. Skip, at some point in time, you got to let you got the incidental contact. You got all that. You got the defenseless receiver. You got targeting. This is why you see 13, 14 guys throw for 4,000 yards in a season. You're getting guys getting 5,050. It's commonplace. You're almost disappointed if you don't have a guy or two guys that have 5,000 yards in the season. So the offenses already have so much slanted in their direction. I cannot believe this. So this is the first time that a call have gone against the team. And I get it. At the moment, it's the NFC Championship game, and you're one step away. Skip, I get all of that. But it's hard for me to believe that there has not been an egregious call that has happened over the course of NFL history that's gone against the team that prevented them. Because what have we heard? I've heard every coach that I've had, and I played 26 years of organized football, from Pee Wee to JV to high school to college to pro, Skip. And every coach has said, we don't blame the officials. It's not one call. It's not one play. And lo and behold, if a play goes against you, we're going to throw all of that out the window. Now we're going to start blaming the official. Really? What about Drew Brees? Drew Brees did not play well. You had a 13-0 lead in the first quarter. What about that? So I just want to know, when does it stop? So what are we going to do? Every PI? Because I can assure you, Skip, that guy didn't say, you know what? I'm going to miss this call. I ain't going to call it. Because we're going to talk about Andy Reid and said how he said the guy had his hand on the flag. So what? And he threw the flag. So Andy Reid's going to be upset that he interjected himself. Sean Payton, on the other hand, is upset that the guy didn't interject himself. So who's right and who's wrong here? But Skip, don't do this. Because you open up a can of worms, you're going down a slippery slope that there's no coming back from. And I just want to know, where does it stop? What's not going to be? So why is defensive PI more important than offensive holding? I don't think it would be. But I definitely don't think this should be reviewable.
What is the most significant penalty in NFL football as opposed to college football? It's the pass interference. It's the most penal of all the penalties because it's a spot foul. And so if you throw a 60-yard pass, it can be a 60-yard flag, right? As opposed to college football, where I would teach my kids to just grab them. Like if you're beat, just pull them down. Make sure that it can't catch it. It's almost like the intentional foul in basketball. Just wrap them up. Make sure they can't shoot it. That you can't get the and one, right? So in this case, the pass wasn't that far. And I get everything you said about everything that transpired for the first 58 minutes of that game, but I can't help the fact, I can't stop the fact that the wrong team is going to the Super Bowl. I just can't help it, because you can do all the ifs and ands and buts about the previous 58 minutes, but in the end, all anybody knows or cares about now going forward is, with 1 minute and 48 seconds left, a pass was thrown to an open receiver, and Nickel Roby-Coleman, the nickelback for the Rams, decided he was so beaten that I'm just going to foul him. I'm going to run him over. And he admitted after the game, I was dead, man. I wasn't going to let him score. So he made a choice. I'm not going to give up a touchdown. I'm just going to take the pass interference. And he willfully took it.
Yes.
It was blatant. It was flagrant. It was egregious. Nobody in the known world disagrees with the fact that should have been called by 3 flags should have flown, right?
Correct.
It's as blatant a pass interference as you will ever see. It's helmet to helmet. It's face guarding. It's all of the above. It's the worst the worst uncalled penalty I think I ever have seen in a big moment, in a big game. This is one step from the Super Bowl. Then to carry it on out, so now with 1 minute and 45 seconds left, they would have had 1st and goal at the 5. The Rams had 1 timeout left, and I'm not great at clock math, but I've read a lot of stories. So if you bleed it correctly down to take the field goal on 4th down, you would have left the Rams with about 25 seconds left, and you would have kicked off to them. Could they have pulled off another Zerline miracle?
A New Orleans miracle.
Okay, well, could they? Yeah, it's possible, but not probable.
Right.
So now I'm left with this sinking feeling that the wrong team is going to the Super Bowl, that the Rams are counterfeit, that they're fraudulent. And again, I have nothing but respect for the Rams. They had a great year. They're a loaded football team. Are they a worthy Super Bowl? Yes, they're worthy. And I don't have any problem with that. I'm not thinking like some hopeless underdog is playing Brady and Belichick, because they're not hopeless.
Right.
In fact, on paper, they look like they're a little better than New England, right? They should have played better than they did all year. Maybe they finally just figured it out now. Maybe it's time for them to flex on the Super Bowl stage, because if they flex all their muscles, they're better than New England. Okay, so I get all that. But New Orleans deserved to go to the Super Bowl. So in NFL history, we've seen this league. It's a great league, but it's been reactive, not proactive. So it always takes a flashpoint. It takes an outcry. And I'm going to go way back, and most of our viewers won't even know what I'm talking about. But the reason we have any replay at all was a play that happened in the 79 playoffs at Pittsburgh featuring Mike Renfro. This is Pastorini to Mike Renfro. Do you remember this? This is Bum Phillips Oilers, and guess who's an assistant on the staff? Wade Phillips is on that staff. And if we could see this play, this is a touchdown to Mike Renfro, who I got to know when he was a Dallas Cowboy later, but they said he was out of bounds. 1 foot goes down. It's bang, bang, he got his feet down.
Yep.
Okay, if there's replay, is that a touchdown?
That's a touchdown.
Well, sure, it's a touchdown. Okay, so that play arguably kept the Oilers from going to the Super Bowl that year. Okay, and I believe that would have been the one that they played Vince Ferragamo and the Rams here in 79, right? Okay, so the point was that created outcry. And Bum Phillips just beat that drum through that whole offseason, and it started the wheels turning toward use of instant replay. It didn't come in for about 5 more years, but again, that was the flashpoint. So to me, because Sean Payton is on the competition committee, and he is outraged over this, and he's already been pushing for some sort of replay on pass interference, I'm willing to bet you that by next year we're going to have replay of pass interference at least in the last 2 minutes of regulation and in overtime.
So what is it about helmet to helmet?
I'm with you. You're going to open Pandora's box.
Yes,
here, okay?
I want to review that.
Okay, it's any judgment call. Should we open it up to any? I'm open to doing that. I'm open just to say in the last 2 minutes. Okay, now we have length of game. So you understand the college game is almost 30 minutes longer. You know, college games, they can go forever. And again, I never complain. I'll watch a University of Oklahoma football game and it'll go on and I'll look at my watch. I'll say, this is a 4-hour game. Yeah. Does anybody care? No. Nobody cares. But usually you're not threatening Sunday night prime time programming, right? It's not 60 Minutes or The Simpsons or Family Guy or whatever's coming on, you know, where you're going to threaten your nighttime block. But that's why they've tried to keep the NFL games as close to 3:05-ish, 3:10-ish as they can.
Yes.
So with this length in the games, it could, depending on how many times it got used. Look, in the end, you love this game. I love this game. But don't you want them to get it right?
But here's the thing, though, with college, Skip. They stop the clock on every first down.
Okay.
NFL, they keep it running. Yeah. So can you imagine if they were to stop the clock on every first down in the NFL game, how long it would take? Okay. So if college is, and that's what, Time yesterday came on our show and he says the college should implement all NFL rules to prepare these guys.
For like the overtime
rules. Right, overtime rules and to stop it. But Skip, you know where this is headed.
Okay.
The game is going to be, you say that now. I don't want a 4 hour. I don't want a 3.5 hour NFL game. I don't want a 4 hour NFL game.
You know what?
Bug you?
Yes.
To me, our technology is so supreme now. We have cameras everywhere. We can see it from 15 angles until finally on the Edelman muff or non-muff, we saw it. We got it this way and that way and that way until finally I said, guess what? He didn't touch the ball. His thumbs didn't touch. Weren't we pretty sure no thumb touched the football?
Yes.
Well, back in the 80s and even in the 90s, I'm not sure we had enough angles to figure that one out.
Right.
But we got it. I think they got it right. It took a while, but they got it right.
Right.
Well, they would have gotten this if the head referee goes over under the hood or wherever he's going, and takes one look at that the Nickel Roby-Coleman play. Wouldn't he just take one look and say, "Oh, we missed that one"?
Skip everything
Right.
bad in slow motion.
Okay, but this one was blatant. I still can't believe they didn't get it in fast motion.
He was Skip. He was wrong, and just like players panic sometimes. You're like, why? All you had to do was just turn around. They panic. He panicked. He's human.
Yeah.
Who panicked? Oh,
The official.
Oh, the official. The side
he
judge,
panicked.
the back judge. I don't know
Yes,
which
he
one
froze.
did. Yeah. And again, remember what's going on. More and more throughout this country, gambling is being legalized.
Yes.
So you have a lot of people betting a lot of money on these games, and they see these referees, they all have, just like I have right now, they have an earpiece in.
You're right.
So they're starting to say, again, conspiracy theories are flying.
Right.
This cloud of doubt is growing over the NFL. Are these games predetermined? Or
Right.
did they want the Rams to go?
If the people ever think the outcome is already predetermined, it's over. Football is done.
And again, what did the owner of the New Orleans Saints say?
Right.
Gail
Benson.
Benson. What did she write in her response? She used the word integrity. She said this is called into question the integrity of the National Football League. Well, that's a strong word to use because after a while, once you lose your integrity,
Skip,
you're done.
I think this has a lot more to do with the feel-good story of Drew Brees and what he's represented in New Orleans and Gail Benson, who's taken over the New Orleans Saints ownership from her husband.
Yeah.
But come on, this is not the first time an egregious call has been missed or made.
It's just at a flashpoint moment that decided the game. That's all. We can go back through the missed face mask and any other thing you want to question, second guess all through the game. But that one, I'm pretty sure, decided the football game. The lack of flag on that play sent the Rams to the Super Bowl. No disrespect to the Rams. It's just a flashpoint, and I think you're going to hear it the rest of the offseason. And I think the competition committee, they've already announced they will at least address this issue. Sean Payton will campaign to at least get replay instituted on pass interference in the last 2 minutes. I'll bet you it will happen. But to your point, and it's a valid one, okay, then what about holding? What about helmet to helmet?
Yes.
What's going to happen is any judgment call will be reviewed maybe just in the last 2 minutes in overtime.
Because we've seen, Skip, guys hit someone with their shoulder,
Sure.
and they say helmet to helmet, they throw the flag. And you're like, that wasn't he. That's what he saw. So
Okay,
now I want to review that.
But what do you hear on television, live, in the moment?
Yes.
You hear Mike Pereira, former director of officials now at Fox.
Yeah.
He'll take one look at a play and he'll say, that was a foul. Right? So
he's
so
always
it's
right.
and he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
And it's easy. Gene Steratore on CBS. He former head of
Right.
head
But see,
official.
he's taking one look at a play in replay.
Yeah.
Right.
That guy's eyes is not in replay. He's looking at it instantaneous like you and I.
But to your point about time and dragging on games, it's pretty easy. Now, Mike Pereira's under fire. He's just sitting in the booth, but he'll take one look and say, that's a foul.
Right.
Or not a foul.
But here's the thing, Skip. Let's just say for the sake of argument, they take one look and come back and say, oh, this was this or this was that.
Yeah.
See, he ain't even take no time.
Okay.
Look how soon he came out of the
All
booth.
right.
He ain't spent no time. They'd already told him, Skip, you can't win in this situation. You know how this works.
Could open up a lot of changes. And to any change to the rules, it would have to be approved by at least 24 of those owners to make any changes.
Well, I know the Rams not going to vote for it.
I don't think they're going to be voting for it. They're going to be taking this
They
one
say,
till
nah,
the
we
end.
good.
We heard
We
it
good
from
over here.
ED yesterday.
Yeah.
Next up, the Eagles season